they'll be calling you a radical. So the real question is not, about the treated water versus dumping, blah, 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 blah. That whole dog and pony show. The real question at Fukushima is how much of the water over in the year 4525, if man is still alive, 4,525 days, actually 26, how much water have they caught? And now, really, remember the ice wall? Okay, all right. Remember they denied that there were even meltdowns and called it a hydrogen blast for 7 years. Now, it's an unarguable fact they've never gotten near these cores. And you can look it up. I'll post the link on the 60 Minutes piece. They're the only ones that ever did anything real on Fukushima. By the way, I see one of the 60 Minutes producers has sadly passed young of cancer. Very sad. But 60 Minutes is the only ones that ever did a legitimate piece on Fukushima. Blake Barrett, Leslie Stahl. Blake Barrett, it took them nearly 3,000 days to tell you what Kevin Blanch told you in 1 hour on March 11, 2011. They're lying. These are meltdowns. So Leslie Stahl to Blake Barrett. Well, this is like going to the moon to fix this. Blake Barrett to Leslie Stahl. Way bigger than that. This has never happened before. Yeah, that's the same guy. Remember what they told us at 3 Mile Island? And we believed. I didn't. Now they wait for, how many, 40-something years later to have a Netflix documentary out that proves it was a meltdown, partial meltdown. So the real question is, how much water have they caught? Well, let's get real. The amount of water, again, they've never gotten close to these 3 cores. Never. Full boiling amount, which I named Del Mar, Argentina syndrome. And Fukushima has proved that China syndrome was very real, which I reported China syndrome going on at Fukushima, which I called Del Mar, Argentina in early March of 2011. And I got cancer. I got leukemia. And like I said, my heart goes out to her, that young woman's family. Way too young to be dying of cancer. It's tragic. We hear it all too often, don't we? 60 Minutes did that great piece. They call it the robots. They sent a robot after robot after robot after robot. Everyone, they had names for these robots. This went on and on and on and on. This robot can handle even hotter temperatures, into many thousands of degrees of Fahrenheit. I mean, they up the ante. They would melt because nuclear meltdowns are hot. They never got near these cores. So the amount of water that's being dumped on them, if you caught all the water, it's an unarguable fact, that's being dumped on these reactors, you would literally have a Tower to Babel. You would have tanks covering the entire island. So it's not a matter how they've treated this water, what they've treated this water for, blah, 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 blah. The real question is how much water have they caught? Come on. It's been 4,526 days. Anderson, Vanderbilt, Cooper, and Sanjay Gupta were at Fukushima, Japan, using the word, these meltdowns are the, Jim Walsh was their expert, MIT, please. Jim Walsh was no expert, MIT. They said it hundreds of times. Both of them, a practicing neurosurgeon. I come from a family of freaking neurosurgeons. I asked one of them straight to his face, is that what he did on Sanjay Gupta, MD, 2 weeks later? He completely slammed it, used the 11-euro on you at a Sudoku. I got a hold. Sudoku's great niece presented me a real paper crayon. I got a hold it in my hand at the Enola Gay hangar. So I'll be out there for the 6, doing my ceremony. Running on empty. What else is new? Oh, wings, we will pretend. So Sanjay Gupta comes back 2 weeks after Fukushima. They were in Fukushima, Japan, Anderson, Vanderbilt, Cooper, and Sanjay Gupta for 6 days. Nuclear meltdowns, nuclear meltdowns, nuclear meltdowns, nuclear meltdowns. They said it over and over and over and over. Then when the wind shifted over us, and remember the helicopters and their water dumping? Remember the ice wall? I mean, it's been one fairy tale after another. Kind of like these SMRs going to save us. They flew home. Neither one of them mentioned it since. 2 weeks later, Sanjay Gupta, MD, on his morning show, had a doctor on there. I found it used the 11-year-old innuendo. Sudoku. Her mother used to call it the atom bomb disease. I have the atom bomb disease. I was given 2 months to live in that room right there in the fall of 2011. I went into the bone marrow transplant at LDS on 11/11/11. You can't make it up, 3 of them. They experimented on me. I was going to die. I had AML de novo OS. It's non-survivable. It wasn't then. I was willing to let them experiment on me. Thimble Peterson, LDS, East 8. Central line in my jugular. I was born with a birth defect from the atom bomb disease. My dad died of this disease young. No cancer in his family. None to this day. His brothers and sisters. He died in the prime of his life after being nuked in the Nevada test site. And then his son gets it. And his great-grandson. The atom bomb disease. What timing, right? You kettle me, I'll kettle you. So, they never mentioned it again on Sanjay Gupta, March 25th, 2011. He's got an artist from Michigan comes on and says, oh, I went to Chernobyl. I found out I had rheumatic fever when it happened. I thought, God, it's just every mutation, this, that, the other thing, blah, 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 blah. I found out that it's really not that bad. I went there and it's not that bad. There's nothing wrong. Why would he put such a person on? I mean, what are they playing? What game? This is a practicing MD nominated to be the Surgeon General. By the way, I see that Barack Obama's cook has tragically drowned at Martha's Vineyard. Then he puts on a doctor. He says, oh, my 11-year-old friend died of leukemia. I got that all those years ago at the Natural History Museum before. We used to do all that great work in there, me and Eric Oppenheim and young Finnegan. I found out radiation isn't all that bad. Radiation saves people. My doctor is an anti-radiation guy. Chemo and radiation are 2 separate treatments. They're separate. I had very little radiation. I had some radical chemo in me. I'm alive, but it took out my aortic valve. I've had open heart surgery twice. I spent the winter right in there. Had to replace my aortic valve again. It blew up. I told him it was going. It's been a hell of a road, right? What a journey this 12 years has been. Lost all my teeth, lost my gallbladder, lost my money, lost about everything except for my peace of mind. So the real question, again, I'll post the link, Leslie Stahl. I know Lake Bear personally. Mark, who watches these videos, he's his maintenance guy. That sunflower that I have in my yard, that old fake one, because my real big giant sunflowers all died in 20. My trees all died. My dogs all died. My neighbors all died in 2013, 14, 15. Just coincidence, bro. The tide pools wiped out in 2012. Coincidence, bro. The salmon collapse on Q 2012. You know, the Chinook salmon go to sea for 5 years. They crash in 2016. Just coincidence, bro. Hell of a way to boil a planet. It's all a Fukushima coincidence. It's all coincidence. Longevity heads south in 2012 in the United States. The heat bubble over the western United States, the greatest predicted by Kevin Blanch. The Fuktonian fires. Hell of a way to boil a planet. You don't even know what's coming off these 3 freaking cores because it's never happened before. It didn't happen in Chernobyl. 1 partial core meltdown that 700,000 men entombed. You don't even know what's coming off this, which I named Fuktonium. Where's your soup can? Never happened at 3 Mile Island. Never even happened at Santa Susana. Never happened at Mayak. Never happened at Chernobyl. Never happened at Chalk River. All these nuclear disasters. Full core melt. First time in history. This is the end of the nuclear innocence. I see Randy Miser has passed away at 77 years old. You know? Oh. So, That's old. No, it's not. No, it's not. So the question is, and like again, you can look it up. Leslie Saw, Lake Barrett. That's the first time that any real media admitted these were full core meltdowns. Lake Barrett too, Mark. Lake, I got Kevin Blanche on the phone. Oh, hi, Kevin. Hi, Lake. Kevin Blanche says these are full blown out meltdowns. It never happened before, and it's genocide in the Pacific Ocean. Well, Kevin Blanche is probably right. Mark says, well, that's not what you said on TV, Lake. I had to tell him something. These are full core meltdowns that they lied and they covered up. Oh, it's only a 7. The scale only goes to 7, 1 to 7. This is the end of the nuclear innocence. So the real question is, it's unarguable now. People used to come at me, oh, these aren't meltdowns. The question is, on the tank water fallacy, how much of the water has been caught and how much has not? I mean, come on. We're not this ignorant. We can do math. They've been pushing water. You're telling me they don't even know where the cores are. They're deep in there, water running on. Every time it rains, every time it freezes, I mean, well, they're probably in the ocean. They don't even know where these cores are at. Yet they're telling you they've caught all this water, they've treated all this water, and then now we're going to flush. The question isn't on the treated water, the flushing. The question is, how much of this water have they caught? Well, it's just, come on. This is just like them trying to tell you that 1 core meltdown is bigger than 3 core meltdowns. This is Orwellian on Balco, Winston. 2 plus 2 is whatever we tell you it is. Are you kidding? 3 core meltdowns. Chernobyl was 1 graphite that blew up a new one with no spent fuel pools. This had 7 spent fuel, at least, most likely 8, blown to smithereens with a giant load that blew into the atmosphere, freaking pushed all over, including MOX fuel. So, I mean, the dog and pony show goes on Balco. The question is not what is in this tank water. I mean, of course, that's an issue. The question really is how much water have they caught in 4,526 days? Let's get real. Come on, that's Kevin Blanche's work has proven this. The greatest PhD in human history. Kevin Blanche has proven this. Let's get real. If they caught all this, again, I'll post the link, 60 Minutes link. They've been all. In fact, 60 Minutes did a couple good pieces on this. They're the only ones that it took them 2,888 days to tell you what Kevin Blanche told you in 1 hour, that these were meltdowns. So there's no byproduct from a nuclear core meltdowns. Then why are we so afraid of them? Until they happen, then it's see no nuclear energy. Speaking of the nuclear energy emperors, they have no fucking clothes. We're all gonna get our turn, right? Oh boy. Have I had my turn? I got some room for you, and I have some for me. Oh, curse the spite that I was ever born to set this way. Whoa, it's been a hell of a journey. I was given 2 months to live 12 years ago. It's been an ugly 12 years. Kicked off Medicaid, bills of millions of dollars, devastated me physically, emotionally, financially. Well, it's been a hell of a 12 years, ain't it? I mean, who knew my path? The day that it happened, don't believe a word they're saying to you. These are full blown out meltdowns. Kevin Blanche on March 11th, 20. I was in the Energy Solutions dump site protesting the Mike Lee bringing in the Italian nuclear waste. And then he later's got the nerve to tell me I just found out my dad's a downwinter years later. I'll get back to you this week, Kevin. That was 9 years ago. So you can go along with the fallacy all you want. You can go along with it all you want. Not me. Not me. So anyway, to be or not to be, how much of the water have they caught? That is the question. Stand turning.